Hi, this is Dr. Kelly Donahoe from drkellydonahoe.com as well as Magnolia Psych, which is my private practice here in the Low Country. Today I want to talk about something nobody wants to talk about, and that is shame. So I group shame with a few other emotions into what I refer to as the blocking emotions. When we feel shame, it's nearly impossible for us to feel anything else. And that means that we can't connect effectively with other people. We shut down. And our defense mechanisms, which are so wonderful and helpful, really, I'm not being sarcastic, they're there to protect us. They're there specifically to protect our egos. So when our egos are feeling vulnerable or triggered, like anything might happen, the walls go up. That's what the defenses are there for. Now, on another video and at another time, we can talk about those defenses. And I would like to encourage you to explore your preferred defenses. For now, let's talk about shame. So shame is an emotion, and it's an emotion that for many, many people can stir up feelings of inadequacy, etc., that can be extremely triggering for the ego. For some of us, you might know this personally about yourself, but when you feel shame, that's when we generally have to start using our coping skills. So sometimes those coping skills can be really awesome and helpful, and sometimes they can lead us down a path towards additional behaviors and actions and thoughts that might actually make our lives more difficult. So I wanted to spend a couple minutes thinking about this and to create a little space in your life to get familiar with shame in particular and how you react to it and what you can do about it. So let's just start with a brief visualization. So I'd like you to think about shame in your life. How does it look for you? How does it feel? For me, it's like this little creature, like a angry, blobby, yucky creature that sticks to everything when I feel it. And makes it hard for me to apologize, to do the things that I need to do to make better whatever I may have said or done, to have that shame feeling in the first place. I don't like the version of myself when I feel shame. I find it really hard to take a step back, get some perspective, and go, oh, that was yucky, wasn't it? I shouldn't have done that. I'm really sorry that I did that. What can I do to make it better? So, I'd like you to spend a little bit of time thinking about your reaction to shame. We all have different ways of acting. Do you push it down deep, deep inside? Do you kind of throw it on the other person? Do you pretend like it didn't happen? Deny, deny, deny. I don't know what it is for you, but it's important to know that because you want to be a good human being, right? So, know how you react to shame and what you can do next. So, I want to talk a little bit about some universals of shame. Maybe that will help shed some light on it. So I made up these theorems that I like to attach to the idea of shame. And the first is that shame is largely intolerable. And that is true for most of us. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if we know exactly what the mechanisms are for that. But as I said, I call it a blocking emotion for a reason. It's largely intolerable. And that generally means that we affix a secondary emotion to it as fast as we can, right? So you feel shame and then you affix something to it. It could be sadness, could be anger, right? I'm not sure what it might be for you, but that's generally what we do. So that's the first theorem. The shame for most of us, the vast majority of us, is largely intolerable. So theorem number 2, shame often feeds the need for us to have coping skills, and for some reason shame seems to be highly correlated with those unhealthy coping skills. So I don't know what your coping skills might be, but shame tends to have a direct line right into those coping skills that are sort of like, oh, wish those coping skills could get a little bit better. So maybe spend some time thinking about what are those coping skills you might have that you wish you didn't have. Not here to judge you, just it's important to evaluate how we react to things, right? And to be able to choose the way we want to react to things. So first of all, again, shame is largely intolerable. And second, it tends to lead to those coping skills that are the less healthy ones, whatever that might be for you. And the third theorem that I like to talk about when we talk about shame is that working to what I call metabolize shame helps to destabilize it, and that is a great, great gift for yourself. So what do I mean by metabolize? This is one of my favorite therapy words because it has great meaning and it has so many layers to it, right? So when we have feelings that we can't tolerate, we tend to shove them in our bodies in different places. And when we talk about metabolizing something, it quickly summarizes the mind-body connection. So when we talk about metabolizing shame, that doesn't mean ignoring it, pushing it away, throwing it on someone else, engaging in those unhealthy coping skills. What it means is working through it and then getting over it, right? So what are some ways that you could work to metabolize shame when it happens, which will then destabilize it instead of growing it and growing it? Because shame is kind of like a mushroom, although mushrooms are delicious. It grows in the dark in a bunch of shit, right? So that's something that as soon as we shed light on shame, it tends to destabilize. So how can you metabolize feelings of shame? Well, I'll tell you. You can take some space from it. Mindfulness helps with this. Mindfulness always, always helps. So get some space from it for a second. Get some perspective on it. Breathe some light and love into it, right? Like, okay, I see what I've done. Let me get some space from it, right? Get it off your face. I feel like sometimes shame is super sticky and it kind of like sticks to your face and all in your chest and in your heart and it's impossible to breathe and see. And so getting some a little bit perspective from it, peeling it off of you and setting it beside you for a minute, not throwing it on someone else, not pretending it's not there, just getting a little space and perspective can help you do what you need to do next, which is often apologize to yourself and to whomever, whatever you've done, and then see if you can try to take some positive action. Now, can you ever entirely make something right? Not always, no. But that doesn't mean you can't work with it, right? And working with it will always lead to a better outcome than pretending like it wasn't there and engaging in those unhealthy coping skills. So those are just some tips today to think about shame. So let's review real quick. So first, think about how you conceptualize shame. Then maybe think about how it works for you. What unhealthy coping skills might it ignite in you? And then to think about those theorems, right? Shame is largely intolerable, that it's generally directly correlated with those unhealthy coping skills, and at the same time, that when we work to metabolize that shame, it destabilizes it, and then we can move on. So there you go. So just a little, couple minutes of your life spent focusing on shame, what we can do about it, how we can move on, be able to connect better with other people. Because again, shame is a blocking emotion and it stops us from being able to be open to other people. You cannot engage in the empathy equation if you have shame between you and the other person. So good luck out there, everyone, connecting with other people. Here's just a couple more psychological secrets from me. I hope you have a great day, and let's all try to keep that shame monster where it belongs, in the light. Bye. Ciao. Can I turn off the video? No one knows.